Dang, folks, yesterday's episode was wild. I finally got around to watching it this morning, and I see why people were messaging me like, yo, did you see the episode? Where's your review? 15 out of 10. I know, yeah, I'm breaking my own rules, but this is my own scoring metric of episodes, so if I want to go above a 10, I will. What a way to start out the week. I'm giving it a high score because the acting from Chelsea and Allison was just amazing. I just feel like this was the beginning. Well, no, actually not. The beginning was when Allison would just pop up randomly on Chelsea, like the beginning of a missing persons Lifetime movie or whatever. This was some good stuff. Now, I remember in the promo for this week, well, the promo from last week showcasing the events of this week, how Samantha was talking to Martin in the country club. And this was brought up in this episode about her dating and whatnot, and her like, hey, I'm growing up. You can't, keep me from growing up or police everything I do. Now, I bet that after Martin finding out what happened to his cousin, he's definitely going to be more on guard for Samantha's sake. And I feel like this is going to lead to more annoying Samantha moments. But it's like, I get it. You're a teenager. You are becoming an adult. But after what occurred with the busboy stalking you and your brother, and now what happened to your cousin by a crazed fan, and you're looking to get into the same kind of work as her, yeah, you can't blame Pop for wanting to be extra secure. And let's not forget your mom's in the background looming, trying to get her own life together. And I feel like she's going to pull an Allison, and where you think she's gone from the story, she's going to eventually pop up. So, yikes. But yeah, this was a great episode. Acting was on point. And I'm recording this at 1:20. So I will try to get this up before the new episode airs at 2 p.m. basically in 40 minutes. Look, if I don't, I had the video up. Look, it's my birthday week. I'm trying to get as much stuff done as possible before I turn 34 on Friday. So, like and subscribe, and let's jump in. So, yeah, we're over at the country club. And the purse release event is happening. So right now, Martin and Samantha talk about how amazing she did as teen ambassador, and they're on the lookout for a Chelsea cat. Like, what's going on? And it turns out that after they have a conversation in regards to how fun they've had spending time together, he talks about, well, you and Terrell are my life, so hopefully, I can stay at home longer, because remember, for the sake of the kids, Smitty's like, Martin, I think you should stay, but on the couch. Man, it's some bull crap. So they do discuss the matter of a guy named Nathan, a boy that Samantha likes, but he hasn't asked her out yet. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, even if he does, I feel like any sort of date you have is going to be parental supervision, because like Martin ain't going to play, especially after what happens to Chelsea. Now, over at Vernon and Anita's, it's just panic. Everybody's trying to figure out what's going on. Madison calls Chelsea's phone for like the umpteenth time, leaving a message, and there's no way she'd be late for something like this because she was looking forward to it so much. And from there, Vernon wonders, well, maybe there's something going on, like she had a flat tire or something, so he goes to call AAA. And they do look at an Instagram clip that Chelsea posted from a couple minutes ago, meaning that it was pre-recorded. So it's like, wait, if it's pre-recorded, that means anything could have happened between, her recording it and us getting it. Like, well, what's happening? So everybody's pulling their resources to try to find out what's happening. That's when Jacob shows up saying that he'll help with the search. Danny thanks him, and Naomi brings Madison to another part of the, home just to kind of take a deep breath and figure out what's going on, because one is the girlfriend, the other one is the older sister. That's when Danny is talking to her dad, and Vernon tries to get her to just calm down. I'm sure everything's going to be okay. And Bill, who's at the country club, is like, hey, what's going on? Where's Chelsea? And that's when he's worried. So Danny's like, okay, I think we need to tell him what's going on. And then we shift gears to this abandoned cabin in the woods, it looks like, and Chelsea's handcuffed to the bed. And she's screaming and tries to get a phone, which is all the way across the room, and she can't believe what's happening. So then Allison creeps out from behind one of the doors, and glad that Chelsea figured out it was her. And in her look, The acting from Allison was so on point, from like the scary eyes and, just the creepy demeanor and whatnot. Oh, you guessed it was me? Well, if you instantly assumed I was the one that took you, that means you must have wanted me to take you, right? It's proof that you wanted me all along. And then that's when we go into Chelsea's mind space, where essentially in the midst of the panic and passing out, she's having these hallucinations, all in which she's talking to various family members, from Kat to Bill to Danny, and I believe even Anita, and all of them are giving her advice on how to handle a situation like this. And I love this because of the fact that this is like in real time, because this could have easily been a situation where Chelsea had various flashbacks just to her family, just key moments with them. But it's the fact that the Duprees, they know each other so well that when she's searching for the answers of what to do, the mental personifications of her family are giving her advice exactly how they would in real life. And it's just, I loved it. These were just such great moments here. But in terms of Kat, you have her telling Chelsea about how Allison, in terms of situations like this, captors always underestimate the victims. And what you need to do for right now is play along with Allison in order to kind of figure out where your opening is. So Chelsea worriedly is like, wait, are you going to hurt me? And it's like, no, I could never hurt you. And I'm sorry about your launch. It's just that, well, I just had to pull you away from myself. Look, there was never any love between us. It was just sex. And hey, it's not my fault your husband was abusive. And then Chelsea, once she realizes she struck a nerve, she's like, well, maybe at one time I did feel something. Oh, well, that's great, because it's going to be so fun making you fall in love with me all over again. So that's when Chelsea says that, well, you know what? My family's going to come. Yeah, you just wait. You'll see. Alice is like, oh, I doubt that. I mean, I figured out a way to divert attention from me by putting comments on your post from a person named Eddie, right? Edie, Edie, Eddie. I'm just going to say Eddie. And after all, she's labeled as your number one fan. So your family will think this person was me all along. That way they won't look for Allison. They'll look for this Eddie person. So we get the epic team up once again of Jacob and Kat. Look, Kat, I know you and Chelsea are doing this fashion thing, but just close up shop. You know what? Jacob is disgruntled because he doesn't like the way his dad and the police department handles the law. He's a detective. Just quit, because look, your dad put you in your place a couple weeks ago and now you're on desk duty. Why not just quit and you and Kat start your own PI firm? That's what I'm talking about. I'm here for it. Detective Kat and Detective wait. What is Jacob's last name? I forgot. Yeah, Kat and Jacob. There you go. Look, I know you got Chelsea Kat, but you need Jacob Kat. Yeah, these two tag team detectives cleaning up the streets of Fairmount Crest. Yeah. So, they're over at Danny's place, because remember, Chelsea and Kat are staying in the guest house or whatever. He has on gloves and Chelsea's not there, and the Kat feels bad. It's like, oh, I forgot to get gloves. And it just shows that she wants to be a part of this, because, there's a difference between trying to fight the crusade to bring down Leslie and Eva, but this is her, I know cousin, but I just call them sisters. This is her sister missing and she wants to help out. So they find Chelsea's phone and Jacob puts it in the bag. And it's funny because it just goes to show how the family knows Chelsea. Like, look, the codependency on her phone, now I'm really worried. If she does not have that phone, something is very wrong. So they call the family to update them, and he makes a call to forensics to tell them they got a missing persons case. That's when Vernon asks if the FBI has been called, and he's like, yeah, K9 squad and everything. That's when Danny gets a call from Bill, and she fills him in on the missing person case. So then Bill's like, hey, I'm on it. And that leads to one of my favorite parts of the episode, but we'll get to that soon. So Vernon goes to make a phone call, and Anita tells the family that nobody could have snatched Chelsea without someone seeing it. But then Madison believes that Allison Bailey is behind this, which I am so happy she spoke up, because in situations like this, it is not uncommon for a person to have potential evidence where it's like, hey, speak up. Like, remember that crazy person who kept popping up? Doesn't it seem like they might be someone of a very strong motive who might be the number one person to do something like this? So basically she tells the Duprees about the Allison and Craig dynamic, and Nicole says that it's possible that a person like that might be capable of kidnapping. So from there, Madison and Anita go to tell Vernon about, this Allison person. That's when Bill shows up, promising, Naomi that, look, I want to find your sister. And then Danny rushes and hugs Bill, and she's crying, and thankfully, no Haley. We don't need that here. We don't need that here. So, over at Danny's place, you got Jacob trying to get the password to Chelsea's phone and looks for information that could, point to where she is right now. And Kat is begging him to let her stay, and he's like, fine, but since you don't have gloves, don't touch anything else. But that's when Kat does put on gloves, because she finds some, because Kat is a trooper like that. And after looking around, it's like, whoa, Chelsea got dragged out of here. So she actually finds her tablet, which she's had the entire time. And they're like, yeah, between forensics and this tablet, we're going to find our girl. So after that, we go over to the country club again, and Martin is shocked about the situation because Nicole mentions that Chelsea is missing. So Samantha is like, wait, what's going on? And he doesn't tell her about it. So Allison tells Chelsea to get some rest because you'll need it for what's to come. So after closing her eyes, she's at the club with Bill, and she tells him about what's going on, and he tells her to play nice and then beat her up. So he gives her tips on uppercuts and whatnot, and a left hook that she won't see coming. So Allison reveals the truth, that she wasn't just someone Chelsea encountered on accident. She's basically Syndrome from The Incredibles, telling Mr. Incredible, or Buddy, it's like, after all, I'm your biggest fan, Buddy. No! And it's not Incredible either. That's what it felt like. So she studied Chelsea like homework ever since you had your first Insta account and made your first post. I've been there. I've studied you. So everything surrounding our first meeting, yeah, I lied. It's like, I didn't want to scare you off by saying, I've been following your every move and everything. So your digital imprint, your footprint, it just led me to where I knew you'd be. Which makes complete sense, because I never bought that story of Craig abused me, and instead of going to the hospital, you instantly ran, pun intended, instantly popped up at the diner where Chelsea was. It's like, wait, what? And then you always pop up like at the country club or at Uptown. It's just like, nah, this ain't right. But side note, this is exactly why. A couple weeks ago, when Instagram turned on like that map feature, sharing your location. Well, here's the thing. I never, ever turn on my location at all. Ever since I started social media, Instagram, Facebook, no. I ain't cutting nothing on. Like, you don't need to know where I'm at. See, I got a lot of friends like that who, they go on trips and whatnot, but they'll post like a bunch of photos and whatnot, but like a week after they've already been somewhere. Because my mom's like, yeah, don't be posting, telling your location like that, because people go to your house and whatnot when you're not there. I'm like, yeah, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. You wait until after you get back. Like, nobody needs to know your every move until after you already made them a long time ago. So Allison talks about everything she knows in terms of what Chelsea loves and what she hates, her favorite foods and whatnot. And then that's when she has another hallucination about Anita mentioning how Allison's broken. So you need to just be a listening and learning and adapting to the situation and remember who you are. And it felt like Mufasa, like, remember, Simba, who you are. And don't worry, because we're coming. So that's when Allison tells her how she knows how she feels about everything. And these were things only Madison knew, huh? And it's like, no, I know you better than she does. And that's when we got Nicole and everybody going through as many of these social media posts. And then they come to the conclusion, okay, this Eddie person claiming to be the #1 fan, their account is only like a month old. So this could be Allison using a burner account. So that's when Kat texts her to call Martin about the situation. And Nicole mentions how, look, there's no news on Chelsea, so if you could call off the launch event and then tell everybody there about how somebody's gone missing. And Martin, reluctant to do so, agrees. And this is kind of an interesting callback to like when he wanted to do a press conference, but it got canceled when Bill informed him of Kenneth dying or being killed. So in the same way, here we have Martin doing a pseudo press conference, but unfortunately one of his own family members has gone missing. So Bill makes a call and says they'll announce the award at an upcoming press conference once they, mention Chelsea is a missing person. And that's when Danny and Nicole have a moment together. And Anita texts Sharon and Tracy to use their followers online to, get any sort of information on this. Which I love how this episode is everybody pulling their resources together. Danny says that she'll call Andre to help out, and that's when Kat and Jacob come back to the mansion and explain that the address on file for Addison is a fake, so they really don't know what to do at this point. So Madison breaks down, and Kat sees DM from Eddie talking about Chelsea. Hey, I'm your #1 fan, and that I'm coming for you. Who the heck is Eddie? And that's when they notice that, this account is a burner. So, probably been a month of Allison popping up. Look, time moves in this show weird, so I can't really tell you how long things have gone. So, that's when Jacob has an idea. Hey, wait a minute. But Allison went to the hospital recently saying that, she quote-unquote fell. If she has any insurance information, we could pull that and try to figure something out. And, that's when, Anita pulls Danny to the side as Vernon's got another case to cover. An old director friend, Buchanan, who works at the FBI. So they go to Uptown to meet up. And then Chelsea, yet again, has another hallucination. This time it's Madison saying, find your way back to me. And then we go over to Allison's waking her up saying, hey, dinner's ready. And it's basically, her saying, oh, we're drinking to new beginnings. And that's when Chelsea's like, this is just the epic moment. But it kind of, we had this whole episode of various friends and family members giving Chelsea advice in her head about how to handle Allison in this situation. Listen, learn, and adapt. Most captors are broken people. Just monitor their movements, figure out their patterns. We're coming for you. Her dad taught her about playing nice and then catching her off guard. But the thing is, Chelsea, you know who your family is. You know they're going to pull their resource. You got your dad's an attorney with a law firm. Your sister is an attorney with her own firm. Your brother-in-law is a detective. Your grandfather has government connections. And there's so many other pieces to the puzzle where, these people will come and do what needs to be done if it means finding you. So the best thing you can do is bide your time. Also, I'm surprised she did not ask about Allison's husband, Craig. Like, what, were they really married? Was that a ruse? Did you off them? Like, I don't know what's going on here. But they're at the dinner having a toast, and that's when Chelsea gives a toast, throws the wine in her face, and then kicks the table over. And then Allison's like, I did all of this, and you're acting like an ungrateful bee. And I'm thinking, Chelsea, not the right move. Like, this isn't something you do, like, your first couple hours as a captive. Now, Allison might not play nice. And now it's like, oh, maybe I should have done that during Thursday's episode, not Monday. It's going to be a long week. But a couple other things. Wow. So I guess that this storyline is going to lead to Bill finding out about, #1, Madison and Chelsea being more than just friends. Number two, not just that Allison abducted his daughter, but the fact that your daughter was involved with a married couple because she's bi or fluid. Please let me know in the comments what she said her sexuality was. I forgot. Then of course from there, you also look at the fact that I really thought this storyline was just going to be about, Chelsea and her experimental ways in the ways of relationships coming back to bite her. I really didn't think it would be from the angle of, hey, social media, this is your number one fan. I just felt like that would have worked better if she was still a model and whatnot. Yes, she still has a huge following, but I would have much rather it been a story where, oh no, Chelsea got abducted by someone who basically, be careful what you wish for. Because initially you were the one that wanted to separate Allison from Craig and just do your own thing. But when she said no, you were butthurt about it and then you moved on. But now all of a sudden she came back. You see what I mean? It just feels like the number one fan angle probably would have held a bit more weight if done differently. I'm not saying this is a bad storyline or that it's bad because it's not the way I thought it would go. I thought it could have taken a different angle with it. And also, the best scene of the episode is when Bill asked permission from Danny. Handcuffs off? Yeah. Scorch the earth if you have to. Bring our little girl back home. And Bill still thinking that Haley miscarried. It's like, I just lost Tyler Perry's sisters. You got Zach just losing a baby with Karen, and now in Zatima, he's on the verge of losing custody of his son, Michael. It's just like one thing after another. He just lost one child. He is not going to lose another. So, yeah, Bill, I love the fact that, that whole thing about judging Bill and whatnot, about murder and whatnot, it's like, no. All that's out there. It's like Batman with no kill rules. Like, you go do what needs to be done to bring her home. This was an excellent episode, and I can't wait to see what today brings. So, with that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I don't think it's anything to say other than fantastic job. But like I said at the beginning, I feel like once Martin learns more about this situation and what went down, we're going to go right back to him being very, very protective of Samantha, and then she's going to be pissed off about it. But this is just a prime example of, this is one of the downsides of the field of work I'm in.